This is Lolita, a 57-year-old orca living inside an enclosed tank at the Miami Seaquarium, and the world's loneliest orca. She's been inside this same tank for 53 years, spending the last 40 of those with no tank mates at all. Recently, Lolita has gained a lot of press with the videos of her living conditions surfacing online, and there's been a massive push for her to be released back into the wild. Lolita lives inside a tank that's falling apart, way too small, and barren of any other orcas. She's been a retired performer for over a year now. It spends most days sitting still in this empty tank. Today we're going over the stunning footage of her living conditions, as well as the work being done to release her back into the wild. This image was taken in the Pacific Northwest in 1970, and Lolita was one of the 6 orca calves being taken away from their pod. 5 out of the 6 ended up dying within the next year, but Lolita is the odd one out. She is now 57 years old, defying all odds and surviving in some of the worst conditions possible. She's been performing at the Miami Seaquarium since her capture, but she was retired in 2022 when a new group of owners took over. The main reason she was retired wasn't because of her declining health or pressure to release her, but because the tank and facility she performed in was deemed unsafe to the public by Miami-Dade County. After months of sitting alone with no performances, an individual in Miami decided to put up a drone to check in on Lolita, and what they captured was astonishing. They filmed the terrible living conditions Lolita was being put in, as well as the enclosure around her falling apart. The footage is hard to watch. Orcas are quite possibly the second smartest animal on the planet, as well as incredibly social, but this right here has been her life for the last 40 years. Now, it hasn't always been this bad. She had an orca mate in her tank with her, and his name was Hugo. Unfortunately, he ended up dying in 1983, and that's when her living conditions began to go downhill. For such highly social creatures, going 40 years without any orca interactions is absolutely unacceptable. Following the footage, reports also came out that the water quality and temperature in her tank were incredibly subpar. Her health was also taking a big toll, especially mentally. She became not that strong of a swimmer, but most alarmingly, she didn't have any motivation to do anything. All of this has led to a massive push by activists and companies to set her free into the wild. As I mentioned, the Miami Seaquarium had a new group of owners take over in March of 2022, and they have agreed that it's time to set her free, at least publicly. Since last year, a lot of work has been done to fix her tank and get her health back up to where it needs to be, and there's been some progress. She now has the right temperature and quality of water, and is finally having face-to-face interactions with people on a daily basis again. There's still a long way to go before she can be considered ready for release, but it's a good start. There's been much speculation about the owner's real mindsets. Publicly, they claim that Lolita is healthy enough to return to the wild right now. But on the other hand, the newly released footage from just a few days ago from the time of recording this video tells an entirely different story. I like to pay the most attention to what her handlers say, because they're the ones who see her on a daily basis. They claim that she is doing better and working towards a release, and they feel like she's getting close. In March of 2023, the Miami Seaquarium reached a deal with a non-profit organization to release her into an enclosed sea pen in the Pacific Northwest, where the pod that she was taken from all the way back in 1970 still swims around to this day. The sea pen stretches several miles of open ocean, so she still wouldn't be that enclosed. There's a big push for her release, but will it actually help her? After spending the last 53 years in captivity, and most of it without any social interactions at all, is she even capable of surviving in the wild? The answer is a little complicated. If she was put into the wide open ocean, the answer is a unanimous no. She would not be capable of surviving. However, being put into a sea pen in the Pacific Northwest changes the story. She still won't be fully functional like other wild orcas, but she might do just fine. Many of you are probably thinking that she'll rejoin her original pod of orcas orcas. However, after being gone for 53 years, she's basically a stranger to them and probably won't be able to find another pod. Her survival will depend on whether or not she can actually hunt, but the only way to find that out is to actually release her into the wild. Ocean Ramsey, who's a famous shark scientist, said in a quote that, "Isn't it better to just give her a chance at survival in the ocean than watch her die in this empty tank?" And I kind of agree with that statement. No animal, let alone an orca, should have to live the entirety of their life in conditions like this. And that brings us to today. Work is being done to get her release official, but only time will tell if it actually happens. The chances are looking pretty good as of now. This story is not only helping shed light on orcas in captivity, but all marine animals. The same videographer also captured Pacific white-sided dolphins living in equally bad conditions at the Seaquarium. Animals like orcas and dolphins should never be put into captivity. They deserve the wide open ocean where they belong. Lolita is helping a movement for the release of animals like herself, and it really makes us reconsider what we thought about aquariums and zoos. It's inspiring that she's been able to survive this long, and the only thing we can do now is hope that she's able to live the rest of her life happily. Now this is a really heavy topic, so of course make sure to let me know what you think in the comments section down below. But that is gonna wrap up today's video, but before you go, make sure to smash that like button, and most importantly subscribe with notifications turned on so you never miss out on awesome videos just like this one. I'm Ray Tiller, and I'll see you on the next video.